Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Electric Avenue video chat on YouTube, um, episode 55. Oh, well, here we are, early December 2021. I can't believe we've made it this far. We're very fortunate. Thank you all. And thanks for making Black Friday Record Store Day just a success that it was. A lot of people asked, were you busy? And the weird thing is, I think with the sort of rediscovery of vinyl in the last year, especially from young people, um, I'm busy more often. And so to be as much busier as I was for Black Friday, it feels sort of all relative in a way. It's a good thing, but yeah, good problem to have, but we were very busy. So, um, oddly enough, I think my online sales were a little bit tepid. I think because more people were actually out buying things, so or looking at things. With that being said, it's sort of you kind of go through that whole process of we were trying to launch an online business during a pandemic just to kind of stay afloat, and so I'm just very grateful that things are where they are. So thank you very much. And I'm going to show some of this week's new releases. There aren't a ton of things, so I will make this as brief as possible. I'm going to review here. I just wanted to show that I still have a few copies left of the Jason Isbell Georgia Blue record on translucent blue vinyl. These are cover songs of Georgia artists featuring Amanda Shires, Julian Baker, Brandy Carlisle, Bella Fleck, John Paul White. So you might want to check this out while I still have a few. I did not put that on the Discogs page for sale because I kind of like giving people a reason to come to the store to look for things. So there were some select things that the Charlie Parker box set. There's Little Feat. I think I maybe only have a couple Aerosmith left. So anyway, there are things that you'll see in the store that you might not see online. So I don't know. I just feel like, hey, if someone's making the time to come to the store, if they can, then I want to give them sort of like a crack at it. And eventually, if they're still here, I'll put them up online. So, other things I sort of mentioned last time, and I didn't really cover much. David Bowie's Brilliant Adventure Volume, what is this? Volume 5 of his box sets, I think. Yeah, this is 1992 to 2001, the 90s. So he was kind of coming out of a period where he'd been super commercial and was trying to kind of assert his artistic side a little bit. So Black Tie White Noise was sort of a R&B kind of pop jazz hip hop album in a way. And Buddha of Suburbia was sort of a soundtrack, but Outside, Earthling, and Hours were the three big albums of this period. Outside was really great. It's one of my favorite albums of his. He was kind of merging electronic jazz and alternative rock into a sort of, parts of the songs were sort of Nine Inch Nailsy, others were jazz. Mike Garson played incredible piano on that album, and it's one of my favorites of his. So I don't know, you might want to check that out. The main thing that I think is sort of significant for this, other than those and the BBC stuff, is that the Toy album is in here, and people are like, "What's the Toy album?" Well, it was an album that he was recording as he was changing record labels at the end of the '90s, working on the Heathen album. Well, it became the Heathen album, but he started by sort of working up songs that he'd written in the '60s to re-record them in a new way and kind of abandon the idea. But the album sort of existed in bootleg form. So yeah, so check that out. Toy is actually being released as its own box set in January 7th. So you might want to be on the lookout for that. Another CD box I'm sort of mentioning here is Joni Mitchell's Archives Volume 2. I mentioned it before. I think it's a fantastic set. 5 CDs. It's got her live at Carnegie Hall, which has been excerpted up here for the vinyl release. Also live at a coffee house. and then an in-concert BBC radio broadcast from 1970 featuring James Taylor. Some of the early songs on that one are River, Carrie, and then she does Case of You with James Taylor, California, Circle Game, Both Sides Now, and Big Yellow Taxi before Court and Spark um, sort of came around. But anyway, no, I think oh, actually, that was on a Ladies of the Canyon. Anyway, fantastic box set. I think you want to maybe check that out if you're a Joni fan, even a passing one. That's a really prime era. I don't know why I'm lifting this because it's right behind me here, but I think you want to see it closer. I've shown this too. This is Grateful Dead, live at the Fox Theater, St. Louis, 1971. It's sort of around Christmas time. So they do Run Rudolph Run on here. But there's the 22-minute version of Good Lovin' also. This, I don't understand why it wasn't on the Record Store Day, the Black Friday list, because on the sticker it says limited edition of 12,000. So it's not like there were a lot made. If it had been out there for Black Friday, I think they would have been gone. So I think it sort of was like out of people's radar. They didn't really know. The last time they did a set like this, I'm thinking significant, was that Cornell set from a few years ago. That thing already sells for like $400 or $500 online, and it started as a $110, $120 item. So I wouldn't sleep on that, is what I'm saying, because I don't think that those are going to be around for very long. And they're really nice. The packaging is really nice. It's got Pigpen and Donna Jean, which they weren't together in the band for very long. So if that's an era that you're interested in. Speaking of Jerry, there's also this Jerry Garcia band. This box set is brand new this week. This is the 91 live album. It's not been on vinyl before. It's a 5 record set, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 12-minute version of Tangled Up in Blue closes it. It's got That Lucky Old Sun, Night They Drove Old Dixie Down, Way You Do the Things You Do, I Shall Be Released, Dear Prudence. Cover songs, but a really good selection. And Jerry fans, I think you're going to want that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's vinyl. No CD. Sorry, CD people. Another great box set this week. The Doors, LA Woman. I think this sort of completes the run of these. I don't know if there are some that they skipped that they need to go back and do. But Rhino's been doing these where they put the vinyl in here and then they also put 3 CDs. So it's, for some people, it's a little bit, I don't want to say annoying, but they would rather have one or the other and not both. But I guess if you think about it, if you say like, I don't want the record, well, the record's probably $20 out of the $70, $80 price tag, right? And the rest are CDs, I guess, and the package and the book, and it's individually numbered. But yeah, it's got the 3 discs are the original stereo mix remastered, and then the sessions are on CDs 1, 2, and 3, and then the record. So plus, they did a really nice job sort of doing the cover. Just a couple little tiny Christmas things to mention. I mentioned this before. Lucinda Williams, Have Yourself a Rockin' Little Christmas. The reason that I mention this, and I've already mentioned it, like I said, is I just heard this for the first time. It's been streaming for about a year now, and she's been doing this whole jukebox series of, she did Tom Petty, she did Bob Dylan. This might be one of the best sort of rockin' blues Christmas albums I think I may have ever heard. She really goes for it, and it's her versions of Run Rudolph Run and Little Red Rooster are pretty heavy, dark, I don't know, bluesy, gritty. Santa Claus Wants Some Lovin' makes me laugh. I think she does a great job of that. So I think you should check it out. People who I've told to check that out come back to me and say, oh my gosh, that was so much better than I could have imagined. And it's like, she did 6 albums all last year as in sort of little short, like, let's go in the studio and cut this, and I thought the Tom Petty album was great. So anyway, another thing that's sort of just an EP really is Andra Day's Christmas. This is only like 5 songs, but it's not break the bank expensive or anything. It has her version also of Someday at Christmas with Stevie Wonder. It's on red vinyl. It's limited. So if you liked her in the Billie Holiday movie, or you like her doing, gosh, what is her? I'm gonna get it. The big famous song she has. Good Lord, used in every commercial. Anyway, she got a great voice. Check that out. All right, so new releases, also reissue kind of stuff. Johnny Cash, June Carter, there, April 1968. Bears Sonic Journals, Journey, yes, Journals. This starts with Cocaine Blues, Long Black Veil, going back to Memphis, ends with things like Ring of Fire, Big River, Don't Take Your Guns to Town, and I Walk the Line. Also, there's a June Carter medley, sort of like a kind of running after the sort of albums where he did at prisons and things like that, or that era. Everybody who's heard this tells me it's fantastic. It's been out on CD for a couple of months, so now's your chance to get the vinyl. Another one that's been out on CD for a really long time and has finally come out on vinyl is Gillian Welch and Dave Rawlings. All the Good Times Are Past and Gone. This is a covers album that came out last year during the pandemic. It was on CD and it won the Grammy for Best Folk Album for 2021. Covered songs by John Prine, Bob Dylan, Norman Blake. I don't think that this is going to be in really wide quantities, so you might want to. It's funny, Jackson is on this album, and Jackson's also on this album, so. All right. Knew They Might Be Giants book. Finally out on vinyl. The CD came out a couple weeks ago, so it's nice. I got to check that out. It's getting pretty good reviews. Garbage, Beautiful Garbage, on its own vinyl. It came out in a little box set a month ago with a bunch of extra stuff. Now you can get just the album by itself if you're into that, which I think they're great. I'll probably be getting this. I think it's a very underrated album. It's sort of when they started sounding more like trying to take in like Blondie as an influence. So this album has been out before. It's a special edition of Bush's Razor Blade Suitcase, another 90s album. And it's pink vinyl for Breast Cancer Research Awareness Month, which was actually October. So that took a while to get out. All That Remains, here's a reissue of their album 15th anniversary of The Fall of Ideals. Therapy, another great sort of alternative rock band. This is their album Nurse on vinyl. I mean, these things, it's like, who would have thought we would be seeing this stuff in 2021? Zarface and Mf Doom. This is a Zarface meets Metal Face special edition, cover art, black and white. Here we go. The Matrix soundtrack. Okay, so it's really cool that they put this out. I will say that it's a clear vinyl, 2 LP, with red pill and blue pill swirl. Okay, I mean, it starts with a Marilyn Manson song, "Rock Is Dead." I'm not sure how I feel about that now. Propellerheads, Ministry, Meat Beat, Prodigy, Rob Zombie, Monster Magnet, Rage. There's a lot of Deftones, a lot of good people on this. It's not cheap. It's like $50. So, how bad do I love The Matrix? I mean, maybe some of you don't have it and you really want to relive that era. I mean, there's good stuff on there. Collectors, sure. Goldfrapp, Head First. They continue their series of reissues. This is on magenta, transparent magenta vinyl, gatefold special edition. This album is good. It's sort of polarizing when it came out. It went sort of like 80s ABBA sounding, which is very current at the time. She said it was her least favorite album of theirs, so go figure. I like it, but it's definitely more pop. The OCs performing a live show. Some of them are in masks. This is Levitation Sessions, Volume 2. Still waiting for Volume 1. That's sort of weird. Natalie Hemby's Pins and Needles. Great country artist, singer-songwriter. Works with Brandi Carlile. I believe she's in the Highwomen. This is her new album on Indie Clear Smoke vinyl. And I saw her on TV last week, and I thought, she's pretty great. She reminds me a little of, like, the song was sort of like if Don Henley's Dirty Laundry was sung by a woman in 2021. You know, it was pretty good. And then let's see, the last thing I have to show here, James Booker's True at Tipitina's Live, 1978. I don't really know what to say about Booker unless you've heard his music. You probably haven't lived. He has quite a story. He's passed away, long since passed away, but he had a habit of combining classical music and New Orleans blues in very strange ways. I don't know if it was the drugs and alcohol talking or what, but very talented guy. So anyway, he played, actually I think he played a lot of early Fats Domino records when Fats was out on tour. He couldn't get back to the studio, so he would have James do the piano parts, and then he would sort of go out and play them live. So sort of interesting. All right. Like I said, I wanted to keep my video short today. I'm still under 20 minutes. Yay. My battery's running low. I've already been interrupted once, so, you know, these videos, it's always, you feel like you're under the gun trying to make them because it's like, the time constraints, the lighting, terrible. I mean, today it's just awful. I look like I have a pallor or something, but anyway. All right, so I am going to try and get out my list of favorite albums of the year, 2021, in the next couple of weeks. It's probably going to be my favorites and not necessarily like the best albums of the year, because I think there's always like two different ways of looking at that kind of list, and I would say it's more like albums that tended to resonate with me as a record store owner and what I saw and heard throughout the year. I don't know, sometimes I think maybe my tastes are a little conservative or sort of old hat. You won't hear a lot of Big Sean on there, nothing against Big Sean. It's just not my thing. But I have no qualms with that. Thundercat's amazing. You know, I don't know. But yeah, so I'll try and get that out soon. Thank you all so much again for being so supportive and allowing us to do what we do. You know, those of you who know us personally sort of know what a road it's been. And I've had some very, very supportive people come out in the last couple of weeks and say some very kind things. So that's what keeps the fire there. All right. Thank you. Have a wonderful week, and you'll see me again next week. I mean, there's still stuff coming out. Next week, Neil Young and Crazy Horse. I mean, what else? Green Day at the BBC, Rival Sons. Yeah, there's still stuff. I don't remember December's there ever being this many releases. So, all right. Take care.